Hello. Uh, my name is Harry, and I'm doing this video because my name is Harry, and I've never did one of these before. I just thought it was important to send this message out. So if I seem like don't know what I'm doing, then you're 100% right. But I wanted to do a quick review over these, you know, recently seen videos of the Wi-Fi doorbells, uh, video cameras. And wanted to tell you not only my thoughts on it, but also my experience with it. So I'm going to try to make this as brief as possible. But about 2 years ago, a friend of mine had come up to me and he said, I got this new thing, this new device for my house. And, anybody who comes to my door or rings my doorbell, I can see and I can talk to. And so I heard him and I seen it pretty much on commercials, but I still wasn't convinced. And at that time, the price was over $200. I think the price went at 249. They're a lot cheaper now, but about a year or so ago, they were a little more pricey. Well, I felt I didn't want to spend $200 or whatever for the doorbell. I thought that I hadn't had any problems all this time. And I've lived this for my house for a number of years. I felt that I'm not going to have any problems. So I did a, I didn't get it. So I guess about a year later, because this is about the total time, about 2 years between I didn't get it and when I got it and whatever happened. But hear me out. Uh, about a year or so later, I get a knock on my door, and I have a solid oak door, very nice door, solid oak door at the entry of my home. And there is a peephole, but for some reason it got messed up, and I can't actually see out of the peephole. But I asked who it was, and they mumbled something, and barely heard it. But I went on and opened the door. Now, my screen door was locked, and then there was these two young men, and they both had bifolds with information in the bifolds, as though they were selling something or asking for, a survey or something. So they had badges, little things around their neck, so they looked pretty authentic. They looked like, so I unlocked my screen door, and as soon as I unlocked it and like pushed it open a little, the one guy grabbed my arm and was trying to yank me out of the house. So what I was actually doing was holding on to the wall and pulling away from him so that he wouldn't yank me out. So I had the leverage and I was able to pull away. I reached my hand out to grab the screen door, and he slammed the screen door on my arm, but the lock was still out. You know how you turn the lock and the lock is out or whatever? The lock was still locked. So when I yanked, was still out, but when I yanked to try to get loose, my hand, I did get loose, but my arm in that lock, it split my arm all the way up close to my elbow. And I started bleeding profusely. At that point, they seen blood, they seen all this, they got out of there and they ran. I'm blood is gushing, literally gushing, like you see on TV, gushing. It was gushing out of my arm. So I grabbed my t-shirt or whatever I had and wrapped it around my arm, and I called, yelled out for my neighbor. And luckily, I didn't even know that she's my neighbor for a long time, but I didn't know her profession. But luckily, she was a nurse, or she did some kind of nurse work. She kind of like put a kind of like a tourniquet on it and was in hurt pretty bad. I'm surprised I didn't pass out. And so I was rushed to the emergency room where they had to do surgery and all that kind of thing. And it wind up costing me, ooh, between the emergency and the operation, it wound up costing me close to $15,000, something like that. And uh, that was just a lesson learned. Of course, thank you. Thank God I'm an older gentleman, and I have the type, I have insurance where that I didn't have to put that whole coverage, but it would have been something if that would have, if I would have had to make that whole payment. But anyway, I say all this to say that after I recovered, and it couldn't have been a week after I recovered, I called my friend and asked him about the security doorbells, video doorbells, and he told me all about them and put me in line to a number that I called, whatever the case might be. But I was able to get it online, and lo and behold, I was able to get it for under $100. It was 99.99, and I'm saying, wow, shoot. Not only have I saved $100, but I'm not putting any more money in with what I've already kind of like soaked in with this accident. It's robbery, attempted robbery. But okay, um, I immediately installed it myself, and it was that easy because well, my son helped me, but it was that easy, and I have the service, and I'm very pleased with the service and all of that. And I'm saying my review is don't do what I did. If somebody has some decent technology that could save your life or save a family member's life or whatever the case might be, and and it's legit, jump on it immediately because that incident a year before he told me about, not only was it more, they cost more, but I mean, that's what kind of like turned me off. But I wish I would have spent that extra $200 to get that, because $200 I lost over $16,000 if I would have purchased a $200 device that would have let me ask the questions before that person would even uh, get into my house. So my review on this thing is personal. I know the packaging was set up very nicely where you can open the pack. They have the instructions in there and everything you need to hook that thing up for yourself. Like I see, me and my son was able to do it in less than, I want to say, 20 minutes, and it took him that long because I was fumbling with it, and he, he eventually took over. But we got that thing in there, and just saying that that saved me a lot of money. And if you have an opportunity to get this thing, I would say yes, jump on this immediately. And by the way, uh, down below, I'm going to put a link because uh, the price has even gone lower. So if you hit the link now, you can get that thing for a sizable discount, even less than $99 that I paid for it. So I'm just saying, hit the link down below and get yours for a lot less and save you $16,000. All right, I'm out of here. Thanks for listening, and hope to see you soon or run into you. Thanks.